fascinating thing about the history of the Spanish in the western United States was their impact on the mineral resource, the mining, the shipping of thousands of tons of gold and silver back to Spain and to Mexico and New Mexico in the name of the crown, or the various missions around the southwestern part of what is now Utah, Arizona, Nevada, California, New Mexico, and parts of northern Mexico as well. The fascinating thing about these Spanish mines, these mines that were opened by the Spanish and mined many times at the expense of the Native American people, were the signs left after the Indian revolt, when the natives revolted against the Spanish and drove them away from out of the country. Many of the mines and remnants of their mining activity was hidden by the Indians. They didn't want the Spanish back into their areas. They had brought many sicknesses and disease. They changed their Native American religion and way of life, and many of them resented this. On many of these areas as many signs of the Spanish occupation were hidden as possible. Many of the mine owners, the soldiers, the padres, were also murdered in these Indian revolts. As a result of this, there are many lost mines that had great value at one time that were filled in and hidden. Many of these mines resulted in cache locations where the mined gold or silver was hidden in preparation for a mule train, a burro train, back to Mexico or New Mexico. The king always received his fifth or his portion of each find because this land was claimed by the Spanish crown. In spite of this, there were many illegal operations, and it's these illegal operations that have been lost to history because very little information can be found. There were no official documents, and all waybills were passed down directly to the family members and were not known to any mission or to the Spanish crown. And so today there may exist many of these Spanish waybills, these hidden documents that were passed down through family members that may resolve many of the projects and things that we work on when we find evidence of Spanish, but we are unable to solve the complete mystery of what happened, what the writings on the rocks, the glyphs mean, what the monuments, the rock piles that were carefully constructed, and the old workings in some of these mines. What do they mean? Where's the information about this particular mine, this area? We really feel like we could solve some of these mysteries if there were families in Mexico, in Spain, that had documents that pertain to many of the projects that we're working on. Another problem is that many of these areas did not have known names. They may have had a name known to the particular miners or to the mission or the individuals involved. They may have a name on a waybill, but as far as on the land today, unless we have a general location of these areas or some verbal information that's been handed down, much of this information has been lost. Today I want to talk about the monuments and some of the things that we have followed, that we have discovered, and we are trying to unlock, to figure out, pertaining to these monuments. Many times the Spanish would use these monuments to navigate trails from one area and back, especially if there were a pack train or someone that was hired to move this gold or silver back and forth between the mines and the location in Mexico or the coast where the precious metals were waiting to be shipped to Spain. These monuments were oftentimes carefully placed so that they were in known orientation, with the stars in some cases, a compass heading, and also to a well-known navigational method or location method called the rule of Martolio. And this was also used in navigating the sea, and it was a method of triangulation, either using stars or known locations on the ground and distances to arrive at a predefined destination. Many times when we find these monuments, merely by finding these monuments, taking a compass heading from one monument to the next, looking through the sight windows, the turtles, if they are a turtle monument, or the different features of the monument, we can also look at their age because of lichen growth, the patina on the rock, the careful way in which the monument was crafted also bears evidence of whether these monuments were made by the Spanish, by later trail markers, by sheep herders, cowboys, or somebody just out having a good time. The Spanish monuments were carefully constructed to last for many, many years. The rocks were chosen by their size, carefully placed. If anything moved or teetered, there were smaller rocks placed in to solidify the monument. Every documented Spanish monument that I've had anything to do with are very, very stable. They also have, in most cases, they have signs of 100-year-old plus lichen growth, the growth of the small microscopic communities of fungus or lichen that grow on these rocks give evidence to the age in which these monuments are. Some of these lichens, the Christos lichen, can grow very, very slowly, and it takes hundreds of years to get to the size of a quarter. And these lichen growths can help us determine the age of these monuments. A unique thing about these lichens is they are oriented specifically, they grow oriented specifically to the sun, to the moisture, to the surrounding conditions. And if they are moved significantly, the lichen will actually die. And so it's important to leave these monuments exactly the way they are. Too many people assume that treasures are buried underneath the monuments, and they tear them all apart, and we lose a significant and important part of the historical documentation of history. I don't know of any Spanish monuments that had a treasure buried underneath a monument. I think the Spanish were smart enough to know that anybody could find their treasure if they buried it beneath a monument. Their markers were constructed in a way in which they had a waybill or a final bit of information that was necessary to unlock the secret of the monument formation. It would be easy for them to have a document that said, triangulate this monument, find the center, go 33 degrees and 200 paces or 20 paces or a vera, or go to the next monument in this direction, and from there go to this cavern, cave, or rock pile. I think all of these monuments had a specific final destination information that was on a waybill, a map, or a verbal information. They could not just dig a hole in the ground and bury something and hope to be able to come back to it 20 or 30 years later. They needed very specific information, a very specific system in order to come back to an area and to find a cache or a mining location. I'd like to encourage anybody who may speak Spanish or have a Spanish speaking family from that time period of the early Spanish occupation that has a document passed down to them that doesn't understand the meaning or the location. We may be able to help them out if they will get in contact with us. We have a lot of locations that we're working on that we know are related to a family treasure, a mine or mission treasure, or the caching or hiding up of records or other information that all we need is the final key or piece of information to be able to unlock this mystery. Anyway, I interviewed Dan on the phone, and we talk about a specific cache location site that I'm going to post photographs of to help the viewer understand a little bit better what we're up against and some of the things that we find all the time. Also, if you have found a series of well-constructed monuments, or even one tall, when I say tall, at least as tall as a person, well-constructed monuments that have been carefully created that are in an area of the Spanish occupation, you very well could have found a Spanish monument that marks the way to a mine, a mission, or a cache site. And if you need information about it or want to get some additional information about it, we may have some information or a nearby monument that we have located and are always looking for more clues to unlock some of these mysteries. Anyway, I'm just going to get into this discussion and post some photos for thought and information. If you have any comments or information that would further this research or your curiosity about it, please post in the comments down below. As we get more information or find more of these monuments, we'll post more videos and other projects that we're working on. Thanks, and have a great day. Hey, how's it going, Dan? Yo. Hey, I just had a quick question here. I'm looking at this Spanish cache configuration on Tescoro, that article you wrote.
Right.
What location is that? Have I been to that one?
Is there anything particular in it? Like, what's the opening photo?
The opening photo is you in a snowy field looking at a monument.
Okay, that is, in a snowy field. And then you go down and it has...
Sierra de Oro.
It has all the diagrams and such?
It's got, yeah, Sierra de Oro, some more monuments.
Keep describing.
Okay, it says smaller hill, larger hill cache layout. Says, in the fall of 2016, a friend called me who was working on a remote substation for the local...
Okay, that's the... No, you have not been there.
Okay, I haven't been to that one.
No. It wasn't hard to find the intended spot, but as always, it's never there.
Yeah, well, like we always talk about, it's the verbal key that's missing, or the key, or else the verbal part of it.
Right.
Why didn't they?
I'm pretty sure that site is connected to the site that's across.
Yeah. Yeah, I know where that's.
Yes, we have maps.
Have what?
And yes, we have maps.
I guess my comment is, Does this layout similar to any of the other monument layouts? Like,
Yeah, it's got the basic principles involved.
do you think it would be the same individuals involved in it?
Say that again?
Do you think it was put together by the same individuals as the central
No.
youth? Okay.
No, not the same individuals, but obviously someone who understood the principles of a 3-4-5 triangle.
Right.
And again, you end up with the compass bearings, 33 degrees, 333.
Right.
That's all over that site.
Okay, it's just interesting. Is there any sight windows on those or turtles?
No, there wasn't any sight windows. However, there were pointers and one turtle monument.
I see the pointers on there on that one photo.
Yeah.
That's a,
Read the article. It's pretty detailed.
yeah, I'm reading it right. I've been reading it. I wondered if it was a site I'd been to before.
No, not that one.
Okay. I wonder if there's any star incorporation in the layout.
I don't know.
Okay. Alrighty.
I just wish I could find out why they like threes.
Well, I think if you have the key and, well, I think one of the thing is that they know for certain when they show up that it's one of their own because of the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
And they also know, with the key, they also know exactly where they go because they may say something like it's so many degrees off this triangle and so many varas or feet or, you know, whatever it is.
Well, it could be something that they learned at sea.
Yeah, that's why I was curious about star incorporation. But what's that Sierra de Oro map that's there? Is that related to that site on the other side you're talking about?
Well, the reason I put it in there is to show, you know, it shows Gold Mountain up there in the northeast quadrant.
Right.
And that's where these families that we believe is the name of it. We think that's where that family was mining.
Okay. All right.
And give me an update on that. And I think it was in the 1600s to the 1700s. They had been mining there, I think it was early 1700s. They were mining there for 30 years.
Wow.
And the family eventually split. And then they started ensuing in arguments and then a battle, and they killed each other off. And I think only two of them made it back to Santa Fe. One of them died when he got there.
Do you have historical information on that?
Only what I've been told, but I would bet you that the information is down there in New Mexico.
At the archives?
Yeah.
That'd be be interesting to see. You know what the family name was?
I want to say it was
That sounds French.
yes,
Okay.
but it could have trickled over into the Spaniards.
Right.
The point being is, I checked them,
Yeah.
and the only places I could find them in the United States is just above where the mine is,
Huh.
and down in Arizona, which is where the other family went. And to this day, they still don't want anything to do with each other.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, is there any other big cache layouts like this that we have around besides down here?
The one as you're going up the hill where the alabaster is.
I was wondering about besides the central Utah site and
I've got in the neighborhood of 60 monument sites to document.
wow. Yeah. Well, okay. I was just curious about this one and trying to figure it out. I know you're busy, but you ought to put an article on Tescoro about how we need researchers in Mexico, New Mexico, Spain, and then get the article all together and explain to them why, because some of their ancestors or relatives may have left some treasure for them, and then also have it translated so it's in Spanish as well, so people can read it in both languages.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be awesome if we could get some researchers who could actually get into those things down there, because that's what we're missing is the keys, the way bills, family names, people we could get a hold of. That I guarantee there's people still have stuff in their family that are going,
Yeah.
you know, my grandfather gave this to my dad's giving it to me, but I don't know what the hell it is or what to do with it, but I'm going to give it to my son, you know, and it's got the key to a, you know, $100 million cache somewhere. I mean, gold today compared to what it was then is astronomical.
Well, if I could find the right people in Mexico, I've got $100 million site sitting down there just waiting for the people that can actually do it.
Well, you ought to find, the more contacts you can get there, or people that speak Spanish, is what we're missing. I mean, literally, we're
Well,
helping.
I got quite a few of those.
Well, I know, but I mean, if you had an article on here so that people found it, that would be key.